Hello there and welcome back to my channel. It is of course only me again, and thank you so much for tuning in for another metal detecting adventure. So in this week's video I am on a brand new permission. I have recently and kindly been granted access to detect some fields around an old 16th century farmstead. But what's quite interesting about this farmstead is it was once adjoined to an old medieval manor as well, and all of the fields around here have been used for things like orchards and pasture and things like that. So nothing's been ploughed, but it does of course mean that things are still going to be in the ground relatively deep but untouched because they haven't been damaged by the plough. So if you want to see what we find today, then stay tuned and continue to watch the video, because everything that comes out you're going to see right here first. And that leaves me to say thank you all so much for watching my videos. It really does mean the absolute world to me. And if you do like metal detecting videos, then hit that subscribe button below, because I'm going to be uploading a video every single week. So stay tuned to catch those. And if you like the video today and you want to support the channel, drop me a thumbs up as well. That means a lot. But that's the talking out of the way. Let's get some digging done. I will see all of you on the very first hole. Well. The day has started on a definite high note. So we've come into the first field today, and I've had a little look at some of the old maps. This old field used to be an orchard. In fact, it used to be part of a much larger orchard that also went over that way and went all the way up to where the old house was. So I thought, well, we'll start down here. It's very close to a little stream that's just behind me, and we'll give it a go, see what we get. You've got to get in there to find out, and you never know what you're going to find. Luck is on our side today, because the very first target, the very first hole that I have dug in this old orchard has produced a little coin. And this coin looks silver, and it also looks hammered. Come and have a look. Okay, so you know about as much as this coin as what I do right now. All I can tell you is that it does definitely look silver. And it's a really small one, isn't it? Look how small and dainty that is. And of course you can tell it's a hammered coin just by how thin it is. Or at least I assume it's a hammered coin. Let's give it a brush off and reveal this coin, because potentially this could be a really nice coin. Oh my goodness. That is our very first target of the day. And it's a lush little medieval penny, I think. I honestly think that's an Edward. Is that the portrait of Edward on there? I honestly think it is. No way. So that of course means on the other side we should see a long cross with 3 pellets in each quadrant. Let's give it a brush off. Oh wow. There we go. It's just like I thought. This is a medieval penny in this old orchard, and oh my goodness, I was not expecting to A, find this on this permission, and B, find it on the very first hole. Hopefully that means that we're not going to get nothing else all day, because that's usually my luck when I find something good on the first hole. But guys, we have honestly just gone and found a silver medieval penny, and this probably dates to around the 1400s, and it is actually in really nice condition. And I'm pretty sure that looks like an Edward or something like that, but it's a little bit worn. It's, you know, not in perfect condition, but considering this has been in a field which hasn't been ploughed and has been mostly pasture, it has preserved some of the details on this coin absolutely amazingly. So what a great start we have just had. This genuinely is our very first find in this permission, and oh my goodness, that has just filled me with so much excitement to just keep going on in this field. We've got about 3 or 4 other fields to do here as well, and they haven't all been orchards. Some of them have been arable in the past, but to come down on a coin that's 600-700 years old straight away for your first target, days don't get much better than this. So stay tuned, this could be a really interesting dig, and I'll see you on the next one. So we've just had our very second target in the field today, and this was an ear burster. It was so loud. I honestly thought that this was like a car wheel or something under the ground, but I've dug it out and we've gone and found a nice horse brass, and it's quite an early one too. It's one of those kind of oval shaped ones which you see, you know, attached to sort of horse straps and those sorts of things. But quite interestingly with this one, it looks like it's also got an initial on the front, and I love these because these are so personal to the people that they belong to. So I've always wondered, were these initials part of the horse's name, or were they part of the owner's name, or were they just the make or the person who, you know, used to make these horse brasses? I'm not actually too sure, but if anyone out there knows the answer to that, then please drop me a question below, because I find so many of these, and that's a question I always get asked about these. So do leave me a comment below, I'd love to know. But let's take a closer look at this horse brass. Looks really interesting. Okay, so as you can see, it's an oval one, and on the back here, once we've picked off some of the mud, you'll be able to see all of the pins here where it actually fastened to the strap. There we go, just sticking out there. And of course on the front we have got the initial. Now I'm not actually sure what this says at the moment, but I can definitely see something on there. I just can't tell what initial that actually is. So it might be a case that we have to clean this one up a little bit, but what I would say about this find is the condition of it is exceptional. Now I find a lot of horse brasses in fields, mostly in ploughed fields, but also in pasture fields as well, and I have never found one in this good a condition. I mean, you can actually see some of the original surfacing and patina there coming through, so that is a good testament to a field which has never been worked very much, and you can definitely tell this thing's just been sat in the ground for 200 years, and the only damage it's sustained is what the sort of ground has done to it during its time under there. But there we are, that's our second target, a nice horse brass, probably sort of Georgian, 1700, something like that. But let's carry on and see what else we can find. So we've just had another target come out of the ground. And honestly, for a moment, when this thing came out, I thought it was, well, I'm not going to say what I thought it was because it wasn't. But I bet you're thinking the same thing as I'm thinking right now, having a look at this. But unfortunately, when I cleaned it off and turned it over, I saw that. So of course, it couldn't have been what I thought it was going to be, and what you might have thought it was as well. But it is something equally as interesting, and boy was this thing deep. I mean, this must have easily been touching a foot down underneath this soil, and it was a really faint target. It was coming up at about 75 to 76, really faint, but I thought, do you know what, I know stuff's in here, is going to be deep, so I'm gonna dig it. And of course what came out was this. Now I don't know whether or not this is a button or whether it's the sort of back to a watch or something like that, because you can see that it was sort of silvered at one point here, but yeah, that's about as far as my knowledge on this find goes. Not that particularly old, I don't think, maybe again 1800, something like that, but it was a deep target, it's in relatively good condition, and of course we've dug it out and it's a copper alloy item. So yeah, let's keep going. Hopefully we get some more of these, and hopefully we get some more really nice interesting bits as well. Well, we've just gone and had another target here in this lovely field, and we've just pulled out another coin. But this isn't an old coin, it's not a hammered coin or anything like that. It's actually just a Victorian halfpence, and the date on it is 1865. But I really like this halfpence for one reason. The condition of it is absolutely amazing. Now, you have to imagine that this coin has probably been sat in the ground for about 150 years. Usually the ground eats up coins, eats up metals, the fertilizers and things that people put in the fields just completely react with the metals, start to break them down over time. But when you get nice fields like this, which are essentially untouched, unfarmed, just left as is, good old historic pasture, you get the rare opportunity to pull out coins that are this old in this condition. And it's just got this amazing green patina all over it, which, considering this has been in the ground for 150 years, is incredible. I mean, look at the detail on Victoria's head there as well. You would be hard pressed not to think that this coin was dropped yesterday. And that, again, is exactly why I love detecting sites like this. Not only do you never know what you're going to get up, it's a complete mixed bag, but things that do come out are generally good and in great condition as well. So it's just a halfpenny, but we might get something else yet. Well, we've gone and found another target in this field. And guys, this one was deep. I cannot emphasize just how deep this target was. Now, it was quite faint and it was coming up at about sort of 71 to 72. But it was certainly there. It was a target and it was consistent. No matter which way around that I went on this target, I could hear it. So I thought, it's got to be something good. It's just got to be deep. So I knocked the reactivity down all the way to 1 and it just sort of boomed out a little bit clearer. So I put the reactivity back to where it was, dug the hole, and my goodness, that is a deep hole. That easily is, it's over a foot. It's got to be over a foot down. If I drop my pinpointer in there, it would just disappear. That is how deep it is. But in the bottom of this hole, I have found not 1, but 2 coins in the bottom, and they are fused together, which is super cool. So they were almost like they were sort of deposited in the ground, one on top of another. And then eventually, over the years, what's happened is they've just sunk and sunk and sunk, to the point where they're over a foot down, and we've come along centuries later and picked them up with our metal detector. But these aren't particularly old coins. I would say that these are sort of Georgian era, maybe George III, something like that. But it's really difficult to tell what's actually on these coins because, of course, they are fused together and they're quite badly corroded. But yeah, I'm pretty much willing to bet that this is a sort of George III penny, something like that. 2 of them squashed together. And I'm quite happy to actually just find 2 coins fused together. I mean, I know they're not old, they're not made of gold or silver, but it's a really interesting find. And I would love to know the story of why they got there on top of each other, just literally so far under the ground. What an amazing story that would be to find out. But unfortunately, we're never going to find that out. But we can dream and we can imagine what that story would be, and that's certainly what we can do as metal detectorists. But yeah, 2 coins fused together, not too bad. Let's keep going. No way. So we have been detecting on this hillside. We're doing a bit of hillside metal detecting today. And I've just been persisting on, really. I thought, well, if I found a hammered coin on my very first hole in this field, then it's got to be worth giving it a good go. So I've just been gridding it out, walking up and down this slope section. Haven't had a lot, as you guys have seen, but I have just found something which looks really cool. I have no idea what it is just yet, but I think it's silver, and it's certainly a really interesting little find. So let's go in and have a closer look. Okay, so this is exactly as I have just seen it coming out of the ground, and have a look at that. Oh, what is it? It almost looks like a kind of medal or something, doesn't it? Because it's got this little section up here where it would have been held on by a ribbon or something like that. See, when I originally saw this poking out the ground, all I saw was this round bit. And so when I pulled it out and saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, that is something really super interesting. So guys, this is going to be the first time I've seen this, and let's do a reveal together and see what we've got in this field, because chances are this is going to be a medal of some sort. So it looks like it is most certainly silver. This has to be silver, but I can't tell what's on it. I can't tell what's on it. Let's have a look on the other side. There should be some sort of monarch on there or something like that. Yes, there we go. That is Elizabeth. No, it isn't. It's Victoria. It's Victoria. It's a Queen Victoria. So that is definitely some kind of medal. I just couldn't tell you what type of medal that is. Not finding that many medals. I have absolutely no idea about medals or anything like that, but I can tell you that this is most certainly sterling silver. It most certainly would have come off of a uniform, and it would have been from the 1800s. So somebody was in this field, probably working the field, that essentially lost a medal which would have been really precious to them. I mean, you know, these things weren't just given away to absolutely anybody. They were given to people that had, you know, fought wars and had really sort of done a lot for their country, and this medal would have been a huge, huge thing to them. And they've just dropped it in this field, and it wasn't even that deep as well, which is really, really good. If you look at some of the coins that we've had in this field, they were super deep, but this little medal was only just below the surface. I would probably say about 3-4 inches maximum. And yep, it's definitely silver. It definitely looks like some kind of medal to me. I can't tell what's on the front. It looks a little bit like an elephant at the moment, but yeah, I can't quite see. So I'm going to have to do a bit of research about this one and see what information I can get from it. But if I can find out anything at all, I will pop it on the video for you. But guys, I have never ever found one of these before, so this is a total first for me. And what an amazing little thing that we have found. So much history entailed in this find, and what a story it would have if we could find out why it was in this field. But there we are, a lush silver medal. Absolutely amazing. So it's pretty late in the day now, and I've actually moved into a slightly different field to what we were detecting in earlier. This one is literally just up behind the old 16th century house that's here, and of course full of targets. I mean, literally there are targets everywhere in this field. So it's been pretty tricky trying to figure out which ones are good and which ones are bad. I've had some junk, I've had some bottle tops and things like that as well, but I've just had a really nice little target, and this thing came in at about 63 on the target identification screen, and it's really cool. It's actually a buckle fragment. Now, as you can see, this is half of the buckle. The other half, unfortunately, has broken off. But what I like about this buckle is that it's got these old lattice workings all around the outside. So it was very, very decorative, completely blank on the back. And it's very, very possible that this buckle here dates to the late Tudor period. Now, the reason why that's really exciting is because the house also dates to the late Tudor period. The 16th century, you know, could have been built way sort of into the Elizabethan times, but essentially this could have come off of somebody that was working here building the house at that time. And it's a really stunning little example. I can't wait to show the landowner this little find, because being so close to the house and dating to almost the exact time period the house here was built means that it's going to be a really, really valuable little thing. Really nice decoration on this one as well. Absolutely stunning. Does need a little bit of a clean, but yeah, I think somebody's going to really, really enjoy that. So it's getting pretty late in the day now. As you can probably see, the sun is starting to go down. I'm probably going to give it another 10 or 15 minutes, so hopefully we get some more finds, and if I do, I will show you straight on the video. Okay, that is all we have time for in today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed me pulling some of these things out of this brand new permission. It's been a really cool day. I've had such great fun. The weather has been perfect. The finds have been there, although very quiet at periods. What I did discover with this permission was that the closer I got to that old 16th century house, the more finds that came out. So if you guys have got any permissions like this, go as close to the house as you possibly can and you will start to find some really good stuff. However, of course, there's always going to be way more junk and things in the field as well. But I cannot wait to get back in here. The landowner has told me that he's planning to cut some more fields, get some more grass down low, and there is one field that I think is going to be absolutely brilliant, and that is right opposite the entrance to the house. And it used to be an orchard as well, and I think we're going to get some really good finds from that one too. So stay tuned, because I will be going in there soon and I will upload a video on this channel for you to see all of the things that have come out. But that leaves me to say thank you all so much for watching as always, and guys, if you're into metal detecting videos and you've watched this far, you might as well subscribe, because guys, I am going to be uploading so much more content in the weeks and months and years coming. But again, that leaves me to say thanks very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Drop me a thumbs up on this one and I will catch you all on the very next dig.